Hey guys, how's it going? So by now you may or may not have heard of the recent, we'll just call it drama between a Florida carry group, Second Amendment Foundation, and GOA, Gun Owners of America. I waited a couple days to report on it because I kind of wanted to let everything kind of soak in and listen to both sides of the story. So I had my friend John Crump come on, and you're about to see that interview. And I wanted to talk to him about it in more long form. Now, the purpose of this video is just to inform. We're opining on some things, and John's certainly presenting some factual assertions as well. But you're all very smart people, and I would like you guys to decide for yourself. But I think this interview went really well. We had a good time. Not that we liked the topic at hand, but I think you know what I mean. And I hope you guys will just think for yourself and understand what some of the possible ramifications are of this gun group infighting, if you will. So here's the interview with John Crump and I. Yes, he does work for GOA, but I was interviewing him in his capacity as an investigative journalist for AmmoLand and also on YouTube. So make sure you go check out his YouTube channels. I'll link them down in the description. We have John Crump Live, where he does live streams several times per week, and John Crump News, where he breaks a lot of news. And these are both channels that I'm subscribed to and really enjoy. So here's my interview with John Crump of AmmoLand. Hey, how's it going, John?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good. I know we've both had busy weekends, but I want you to weigh in on this current situation I've been hearing about. And this regards constitutional carry in Florida, the Florida Carry Association that's down there, and Second Amendment Foundation apparently having some words with Gun Owners of America. Is that kind of sort of what's happened?
Yeah, a little bit. First, I want to let you all know that I do work for GOA. I'm a consultant and the Virginia State Director, but I'm also a reporter, and I'm going to try to do this from the reporter's standpoint to remain as neutral as possible. But I just wanted to put that out there that I am affiliated with GOA in case some of my bias seeps through. You'll be able to tell and make your own decisions. Just want to
Good.
get that straight right there.
Yeah, fair enough. And I wanted to interview you because, yes, you're a state director for GOA. I don't want you to speak on their behalf, but you also know a lot about this situation. So that's kind
Yeah.
of where I wanted you to weigh in from that standpoint.
Okay. So let's start with what happened. Luis Valdez, who is the Florida State Director for GOA, tweeted out that Cord Bird betrayed gun owners because he killed 5 out of 6 pro-gun bills, including constitutional carry. He was the head of a committee, and he chose not to bring it up for a vote and just to kill it off. His reasoning was that there wasn't a companion bill in the Senate, but he also passed through for a vote other bills, like I think 4 or 5 bills that didn't have companion bills in the Senate. So I think that was more of an excuse than anything else. I know that the head of the Republicans in Florida didn't want it brought up, so I think he basically did their bidding. But that's neither here nor there. So Lewis called him out on it. What happened was the media director, the communications director for Florida Carry, who is also a employee of Second Amendment Foundation, put out an article and sent it out everywhere that basically called GOA to apologize for calling out Cord Bird because they say, his hands are tied. There's 2 different types of politics in play here. There's confrontational politics, which is kind of like think and spank, which if you do something good, we thank you. If you do something bad, we call you out. And then there's access based, which is if you do something good, we thank you. If you do something bad, then we don't really call you out on it because we don't want to risk the access. So Lewis called him out. The director of communications put out this long diatribe criticizing Lewis, criticizing GOA, saying that GOA doesn't know what they're doing politically, and everything else. It was sent out to all the Florida Carry members. It was sent out to every media organization. It was sent out to all the SAF members and put on their website. And it was sent out to NRA members in Florida. So basically, SAF, Florida Carry, and NRA all gang piled on GOA, demanding that GOA apologize to Rep. Byrd for calling him out for killing Constitutional Carrying Committee. GOA, go ahead. Sorry.
I just wanted to clarify for people that don't know. So, Mr. Byrd is a state representative in the Florida House. And from what I understand, is he a rather influential member, like meaning he's a chairman of a committee?
He's the chairman of the committee.
And if the chairman doesn't present the bill, it can't go to the vote for this super majority they have in Florida. Is that kind of what's going on right now?
That is correct.
Okay.
So we called him out for not bringing it out.
Okay.
So these organizations demanded that GOA apologize for Byrd for pointing out that he killed Constitutional Carry, which GOA promptly said, no, we won't. And GOA wrote a response stating, all the inaccuracies in the article. And it was really well researched. It was by Tim Macy. Then Florida Carry wrote back another article stating, and SAF at this point, they didn't publish the second article. But it said stuff like there is turmoil in the GOA leadership, and that's just not true. That I'll tell you right now, that's categorically false. The leadership is on board 100% with calling out bad politicians. So we don't apologize for that because we're no compromise. Being no compromise isn't just a slogan. It is what we do.
Okay, so I have a question, and this might be tough. Just keep your John Crump journalist hat on. I know you're involved in GOA, but I'm going to opine from my position. I've been a member of Gun Owners of America for quite some time. I'm constantly watching them like a hawk, hoping they'll never mess up. But if they do, I'll call out GOA. Haven't seen it yet.
And you rightly should.
So no compromise on what, though? Because to me, they're called Gun Owners of America. So are they the Republicans, supporters of America, or is this about our Second Amendment protection of our God-given rights? Like, what's the mission here?
GOA doesn't call out people on the basis of political party, and we don't protect people on the basis of political party. If you're anti-gun, we'll call you out. If you're pro-gun, GOA will say good job, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. GOA is a one-issue organization. We don't care about any issues besides gun rights.
And I like that focus. And I often say this in my streams. The Second Amendment, this protects rights that were endowed by our Creator. That's what the Declaration of Independence says. And I don't think guns should even be a political issue. They shouldn't be Democrat or Republican. This right is affirmed in the Second Amendment for everybody. However, I know generally, at least this is the consensus, or like they would like you to believe that Republicans are normally going to be pro-gun, Democrats are going to be anti-gun, but that may not always be true. So what's going on in Florida? DeSantis is the governor. They have a super majority in the Senate and in their House. What's your opinion on that?
The Republican Party in Florida is incredibly weak when it comes to gun rights. You got to remember, the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas bill was passed by Republicans, and the author of it is actually the guest of honor at a Friends of the NRA dinner coming up here in Florida. So that should tell you where everyone in Florida stands. But Lewis is there trying to change that and putting pressure on the legislators. One thing that the director of communications did say is that when Lewis said that the bill was not being introduced for constitutional carry for 2022, Lewis said that it was. The author and the director of communications for Florida Carry said that wasn't the case, that Lewis made that up. Rep they've Rep Sabatini down there, who actually is introducing it in 2022, and he responded today, basically saying, "Yeah, I've already submitted it. It's with the House." So that was another. I went. I don't know if it's a lie or just someone not understanding what's going on.
So I saw a brief YouTube video on GOA's channel. I don't know if you're familiar. It was Lewis and a rep. Is that the same rep?
Yeah.
You're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, I saw that. So here's what I think's going on right now. People that live in Florida, they need to get on their state reps. Let them know we voted for you as a Republican because of gun rights. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Now let's look at the national implications, because in theory, only 1/50th of our American viewers here are in Florida. I just kind of want you to real quick opine in your personal capacity. What's going on with these gun rights groups? Because you have GOA, no compromise, okay, with gun rights. Now we have this Florida organization who I've barely even heard of. And then we have Second Amendment Foundation, which I believe is Alan Gottlieb's organization, and an organization that I thought was always pretty good. But there's more info on that. But the first question, I guess, what's the national implications? What should people think about this? Gun groups fighting?
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around why gun groups attacked GOA. You can have different philosophies, but the real enemy is the people that want to take away our rights, like the Moms Demand Action and the Everytown. I would much rather focus my energy on reporting about the battles against them than reporting about the battles between two gun groups. I will say that there's two different types of things, of type of politics. You got confrontational politics, which I said is think and spank, and you have access based, where you don't call out people that you consider allies. You give them a pass.
Okay, so I just for all my viewers to know, I don't believe the next question I'm going to ask per se, but I think I just need to ask it. And it's kind of a tough question, but it just needs to be out there. Now, let's just say hypothetically, from what I understand, SAF and this Florida carry group are saying GOA doesn't understand the type of politics. So I guess I need to ask you this. Do you think that what they're trying to say possibly is, look, this guy might not be doing everything you want him to do in the pro-gun world, but at least he's not anti-gun. So we still have to support this guy no matter what, because if not, he could lose to a Democrat that's going to get on board with Bloomberg and Mom's Demand. So is there any way that those guys are right and GOA is wrong, that GOA just doesn't understand the long-term chess of politics? What do you think about that?
Well, certain other gun groups actually help write Manchin-Toomey, which is universal background checks, because they thought that was the best that they were going to be able to get back then. And I have all sorts of documents and papers to back this up. GOA said, hell no, we're not negotiating anything. And we fought back, and GOA was able to get enough support to push back against that and kill Manchin-Toomey. If it wasn't for the no compromise stance of GOA, that was going to pass because the other major gun groups were on board with Manchin-Toomey. If it wasn't for GOA, that wouldn't have been the case. One major gun group, the major gun group, was with Manchin-Toomey until GOA started putting pressure on them, and then they dropped their support for it, leaving Second Amendment Foundation is the only one that was supporting Manchin-Toomey, and we were able to go ahead and flip enough people to fight back. And if we would have went with the access-based politics, we would have universal background checks right now, but we didn't.
We would, and from what I understand, this was around the time of the Sandy Hook tragedy, and it was tragic.
Correct.
And I remember there were a couple Republicans, I can't remember if it was Senator Paul or one of them, filibustered, and they wouldn't let the Senate vote cloture. So that's actually what stopped it. It was very, very close. And I believe there was actually technically a physical majority that would have voted for it, but they stopped it via the Senate filibuster.
Correct. And if you read, there's a New York Times article that talks about GOA motivating their members to call in, and several senators said, "Hey, I would have voted for it, but there was so much pressure from GOA members that I didn't."
Okay, so here's my next question, and this one's kind of tough, and I want to frame it right because, well, let's be blunt about it. You were on our friend Hank Strange's stream, kind of breaking the news on Friday. I was cutting grass, and I kind of chimed in the comments. I'm like, John, are you sure Alan Gottlieb? Alan Gottlieb's the head of SAF. Are you sure he's involved in this? Because he probably is a really nice person. This is nothing personal, but I'm like, no, I don't know, man. You better. Well, that's why I want you on here. You're one of the premier investigative journalists, so. I got a link from you earlier today, and I was really disheartened to see this, but I saw Alan Gottlieb. It looked like it may be a fundraiser dinner type thing. I could hear plates clattering, and he gave quite the speech around the time of this Manchin-Toomey bill, where he was bragging about how it sounded like SAF essentially lobbied for the universal background checks, maybe even helped them write the bill.
They helped write it.
So what's going on with that? I mean, again, it's nothing personal. Alan might be a nice guy, but what's going on with SAF? I kind of need to know.
They assumed that was the best that we were going to be able to get. They assumed that no amount of pressure would stop it from passing. So they wanted to make it, mitigate the damage as much as possible.
Okay, so it is.
GOA took a whole different stance of calling, the nuclear option, going all out, telling people we're going to primary them. We will spare no penny, no amount of time. We will get you out if you vote for this. And that's what killed the bill.
That's what I like about GO, guys. Look. We've compromised for the last almost 100 years, starting with the NFA. Every time we give up something, we never, ever get it back. So I am going to personally be on the side of GOA's decision when it came to opposing that Manchin-Toomey bill, because there is no compromise. Because a compromise would be this, and I'm not saying we should do this. I'm just letting people think about this in perspective. A compromise would be, okay, we'll let the Manchin-Toomey bill go through, but now you're going to repeal the NFA. Compromise has to have both sides. So I don't see where it's a compromise when it's letting the gun grabbers just take some of our rights.
That's something that GOA pushes heavily, that it's a compromise in name only. It's not really a compromise. It's, hey, we're going to take some of your rights, but we're going to let you keep other rights for now until next week when we decide we want those too.
Yes, I completely agree. And while it may be possible that, look, I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Mr. Gottlieb and the SAF, he probably believed what he said. I'm just going to assume so. And he thought that was the best he could get, but we don't need to settle for the best we can get. So I'm happy with GOA's stance personally on that. And I think you are too, right?
Yeah, I'm very happy. That's why I work with GOA. I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, I could have worked for a lot of different gun rights organizations, but GOA is the one that I wanted to work with. I mean, there's other gun groups that are no compromise as well. On the national level that lobbies, you don't really see any but GOA. A lot of people say FPC, but FPC, they don't lobby. They do great work, but they're more involved in the lawsuit side of stuff. Where GOA has like a two-pronged attack. We do lawsuits and lobbying. I'm sure if FPC lobby, they probably would be no compromise, just like GOA. But yeah. But they decided to concentrate on lawsuits, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's a strategy. GOA has a little bit of a different strategy of going after, the lobbying, try to stop bad bills before they are formed. Then if they do go through, then we will sue over the bad bills. So it's a little bit different strategy, but both groups are great. So I have nothing bad to say about FPC. And you have other groups like VCDL in Virginia, which is our local group. I guess it's the Virginia equivalent to Florida Carry, but VCDL is no compromise. They're not going to compromise on anything. And they work very closely with GOA. And you have other groups like CCDL, which is Connecticut Citizens Defense League, AZDCDL, and WVCDL, you know.
So here's what I'm going to propose to people. I'm going to put a link to that video that you had put on your channel earlier down in the description. I'm not going to tell people because I want you all to think for yourselves. You're all very smart people who watch my channel. I just want you guys to, you know, if you want to, just watch Alan Gottlieb's speech around the time of Sandy Hook and this Manchin-Toomey universal background check. Watch it for yourself. You'll decide. You can decide which gun group you like more. You can decide you still like them both. I don't care. I'll just let him speak for himself, and you guys can decide. My point is not to try to get everybody to revoke their support for SAF or to condemn SAF. I don't want to get that point across. I just want people to have the facts. What do you think about that?
Look, I'm a member of NRA. I'll say that right now. I'm a member of NRA, VCDL, GOA. I'm a member of all those groups. There's certain groups I'm not going to go into that I won't be a member of just because of past compromises, even worse than what the NRA has done.
Yeah.
But there are certain groups out there that are good, certain groups that are bad. And that's to me. Whether you consider that amount of compromise good or bad, that's a decision you're going to have to make. It's how 2A are you? And when I say 2A, I'm not even talking about like 2A as in the Second Amendment. I'm doing 2A as shorthand for the right to bear arms, because as you know, and as your viewers know, the Constitution does not grant us the right to bear arms. The Constitution affirms that the government does not have a right to fringe on our natural God-given, whether that's the universe or the God of the Bible or Buddha or whoever.
Yeah.
That is your natural right, and no one can take that away from you. And that's what GOA believes.
I agree, and that's my stance on it. I'm pretty hardline when it comes to this. So I think everyone should make their own decisions. I think it's good to have as many horses in the stable when it comes to protecting the Second Amendment.
Yeah, I mean, that's why
protects our rights, you know.
That's why I don't like the infighting. I do not like the infighting. I wish GOA was never attacked. GOA was kind of put in a hard place to be, where they were being attacked by 3 organizations. They had to respond, and that should have been it.
I want to end with one tough question because I think I need to, just to be fair. I'm not happy with what I heard Mr. Gottlieb say personally. I'm not happy with all these attacks that I see. And I'm probably going to lean more towards GOA's side, just to be honest, in my personal opinion. However, Luis Valdez, I've seen him on your channel before. I understand that you know him. They say he's lying. You know, sometimes they say there's your side, there's my side, then there's the truth. Well, what chance is there he's lying? Have you done research on that?
Yeah, there's no chance whatsoever. I've talked to the people involved. We all did. In fact, Florida Carry put out a statement saying that their GC General Counsel Eric Friday spoke to Lewis, and Lewis said that GOA was going to issue a public apology to Rep. Byrd. And I know that's not true. So I decided to go back and ask. I have a screenshot of this. Let me just put that. Just keep in the back of mind that I have a screenshot. So I asked the guy who actually wrote the post. I said, "Hey, did you say that Eric Friday spoke to Luis Valdez and he said that GOA was going to apologize publicly?" And the guy didn't know who it was. So he said, "No, I never said that." And I said, "Well, I got a screenshot." And I shared the screenshot. I said, "Is this you who wrote this?" He went, "Yes, but I have a different way of writing, and I forgot to put a period in there, and not period, a different paragraph in there." And I'm like,
okay,
how does that make sense? So I said, then what's the truth? He goes, "Someone else at GOA told me that," which I don't believe, because he said that Eric Friday did talk to Lewis. So I was like, okay, well, what's this about Eric Friday talking to Lewis? Oh, Eric Friday did talk to Lewis, but I don't know what they discussed. So I went to Eric Friday. I said, "Did you talk to Lewis from GOA, Luis Valdez?" And Eric is a pretty stand-up guy. He said, "No, I never talked to him."
Okay.
I said that it's like, but Florida Carry saying you did, and he said, I have no idea what Florida Carry is talking about. I will look into it, but I never talked to Lewis. I never told anyone I talked to Lewis. I don't know why they're pinning that out.
Okay, well, like I said, you've done the research. You've just cited that you have sources, evidence, and that's good. And that's why I didn't rush to break this on Friday night or even Saturday. We're recording this late on Monday night, actually. I wanted to just give it a couple days for it to marinate, see what comes out, see if you find something else, whether it's on one side or the other. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now. Maybe there was a bit of a misunderstanding. Maybe this was meant to be a smear piece, but the optics of it are bad either way, and I don't like it.
I think it all ties back to one guy, and I mean, I don't know. I know that one guy is really close friends with Marion Hammer, who is of NRA down there. He works for SAF and he works for Florida Carry. So maybe he just went rogue, but whatever it is, I mean, it has to stop. I think GOA is probably going to put out one more statement and to correct the falsehoods of the last piece, which had like literally lies. I don't know if he made it up himself or someone else made it up and told him, but it's a smear because it's
now
lies.
Hold on, John. That's a pretty strong accusation. You have stuff to back that up, I assume, if needed.
Oh,
correct?
100%. 100%. I mean, I don't know if he lied or someone lied to him, but it's definitely lies.
He's either lying or saying things that just aren't true, as the saying goes.
Yeah,
right?
he's lying or someone lied to him. But there's lies in there, especially when GOA leadership is in turmoil. And that's just not the case.
Okay, and this is what sucks about all this, and I'm gonna end on this note. My wife does Twitter. I don't do much, but we were talking one day, and she was talking about a Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, the governor, right? Supposedly. Now, she said she just tweeted this and that. I said, "How do you know this?" She goes, "Well, I follow Gretchen." And I said, "Why are you following Gretchen?" She said, "You always follow the enemy because then you can see what their strategy is." So, with that said, moms demand action. Bloomberg and all of his, and all these groups that are trying to literally shred the Second Amendment. Do you think they found out about this news, this drama?
Yeah, I'm sure they did. That's why GOA hasn't really leveled any attack. We've just corrected the record. And we don't really want to fight with anyone out of GOA. GOA will not name the names of the other groups. I will because I am a journalist and that's what I do.
Yeah.
GOA, as you know, but the people out there might not know, I'm not a full-time employee of GOA. My day job is journalism.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to ask you, just due to the investigative nature of what you do, and you being one of the premier investigators on the side of things. So here's what's really sad. You've got groups that are doing stuff, and I encourage all the viewers to have their own opinions. But at the end of the day, the enemy, the bad guys, whatever you want to call them, the anti-gun groups, they're going to watch this. And I know from what I do for a living, if I'm going to bust out somebody's old sidewalk to put in a brick paver patio, I find where the first crack is, and that's where I put my chisel in there to start. So once you form a crack, it's easier for the other side to start to break apart these gun rights groups. And I think that's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? People get nervous when someone comes in, and Lewis is a bull. I mean, he will get stuff done. People get nervous when someone comes in who moves the needle, who starts getting stuff done. And for a long time, you told people that was impossible.
I know what's going on here. No, I know what's going on. This goes on in all aspects of life. There's the whole mantra of, hey, this is just the way it's always been. And it's like, no, people like Lewis and you and I are like, no, we don't want it to be the way it's always been. Because the way it's been for 90 years is they just keep chipping away more and more and more. And we want to stop that and start reversing that, right?
Yeah, you got to be a disruptor. Also, I think there might be a little bit of gatekeeping going on where, like the normal people can't understand what's going on. Why are you encouraging the normal people? Let us do it. Which
Yeah.
GOA strategy has always been to motivate the people out there to action.
Well, look, Eric Pratt is not the GOA. Lewis isn't the GOA. Neither is John Crump, although you guys are very important. No, like regular old little old nobodies like me and all of you watching, collectively, we're the GOA. So that's
Yeah,
who the GOA or any of these groups are, is the people.
Yeah, 100%. We talk about that a lot. Our main power is not in any type of money or not in any type of writing or anything else. Our main power is our membership base. We have some of the most hardcore members that there is that will motivate. If you look at our click through rate on our emails, it's extremely high, which means people are taking action. And that is very encouraging because that's where the power lies. The power lies not with me, not with Eric Pratt, not with Tim Macy, who's the head of the board, not with John Vlecko, who's the executive vice president, not with Lewis, not with Rachel Malone in Texas. It lies with the rank and file membership. You out there who are GOA members are just as important as me or anyone in GOA because our power lies with you. Without you, we would have no power. We would not be able to move the needle. We would not be able to get things done. It's our membership, and that is where our main power lies. Yeah, we file lawsuits, of course, but that is also funded by our memberships as well. And when we put out an alert, say, hey, you need to hit this senator, whether it's Manchin in West Virginia or someone else, we need you to hit this senator with emails and calls and let them know where you stand as gun owners. Our members reply. And that is why Harry Reid once said, NRA is bad, but GOA is worse than bad. And that is why Ron Paul called us Washington, D.C.'s only no compromise gun lobby. That is why you're seeing us be targeted by different groups out there and different writers and different organizations, whether it's Mother Jones or the Nation or any of these anti-gun groups. They're targeting us because we are effective, but we is just not me. We is you and I, all the GOA members. Even if you're not a GOA member and you're just on that membership list and you're not on the membership list, but the email list, our alert list. And if you take action, even if you don't pay us a dime, that is more important than anything else, is for you all out there to take action. Sorry, I got a little bit carried away there.
No, I appreciate that. No, that's my take on this too. When GOA gets involved, the members actually get involved and it actually works. And if Mr. Pratt or Mr. Crump or Macy or Johnson or all these different people, they go to Washington and talk to a senator and say, hey, me and 4 or 5 of my friends would like you to, they're going to go, get out of my office. No, they go in there and say, look, there's 1 million gun owners.
We go in there.
They're going to vote you out.
We go in there, we say, we have 4 million gun owners that we can motivate to action overnight. And do you really want to deal with that? Or do you want our support? Do you want their support? That's confrontational politics right there. It's the carrot and stick, right?
Yep.
We will help you. We will help you win. We'll throw all our money, all our power, all our membership behind you if you support gun rights. If you do not support gun rights, we're going to go find someone who does support gun rights who's going to replace you.
Yes, and that's the mission statement, guys. That's how it works, basically, with GOA, as you've all heard. You'll all decide whether that's what you want to get behind. Now, I also just want to be fair. You'll also look at things the NRA does, the SAF, this Florida Carry Group. I'm going to put a link down in the description with SAF from that speech 9 years ago, whenever it was. And I encourage you all to analyze their principles and what they stand for and take that into consideration, too. Is that about the best we can hope for people just to look at what's going on and be smart?
Yeah, make your own mind. Don't take my word for it. Research, look into it for yourself. We are in a time where people don't do that. They don't take the time to research themselves. Look at everything. Research Lewis, research me, research Eric Pratt, research Tim Macy, research everyone, research Alan Gottlieb. Maybe you like him more. It doesn't matter. Just research. Just be informed when you make your decision.
Yes, and I'm standing here with a clear conscience, not telling you who not to support. That's up to you guys, but I support GOA because I've seen them being the closest group to possibly representing my interests and my principles on the Second Amendment. So that's where I'm personally at with it. All right, is there anything we need to add? Anything I forgot? Or I think it was a good talk.
That was a very, very good talk.
All right, man. Well, it's good to hang out with you, and I really appreciate everything you're doing, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate everything you're doing. You're making a difference. You're keeping people informed, and your audience is one of the best audiences out there. I'm in your live chats almost every Friday night hanging out with everyone else. I'm over on your locals hanging out,
Yes,
and it's a lot of fun. And you have a passionate audience, and that's why I love to speak to them.
well, thanks, man. And you know what? I do have something in common with GOA. They're nothing without their members. I'm nothing without my viewers, because all my viewers do give me the motivation to keep on fighting the good fight. And I encourage all of you guys to make sure you go check out the John Crump live channel if you're into the live streams. And of course, John Crump News, Ammo Land, if you want to read his investigative journalism and all of his articles over there. So, did I miss anything?
No, that seems about it.
All right, thanks, dude. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, thank you. All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. And again, I encourage all of you to develop your own opinions and check out John Crump's channels. And hopefully the information that I just showed helps all of you guys kind of get your mind wrapped around things. I'm not happy about things, obviously, but we need to truck on, and we just need to keep the Second Amendment in place, which does not grant you any rights, but protects your unalienable rights that were endowed to you by your Creator. All right, thanks for watching, and have a good one.